Happy New Year. It is, welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call. This is Jared Rand for January 2nd, 2020, 3 p.m. Eastern. Be aware that there, and I say this because it's an important understanding, is that there are, when you have the low frequencies, dark matter frequencies, and those are used to controlling everything for just about ever, because there's always been sections through the thousands and thousands of years on this planet where there have been mostly control factors of the lower frequencies, the lower survival matter frequencies. And the reason we talk about this so much is that it becomes ingrained in all of us, that it is an autopilot, that we know that when we are subjected to these low frequencies, which you can't escape them, because they're just about, you run into them everywhere. They could be subtle, they could be more in your face, but the reason that this shift is advancing so quickly and deeply is because the collective consciousness has shifted itself into higher frequency. And it doesn't matter what, anything that is directed to you that is not within you. That might sound a little odd, but anything that is directed to you that is not within you is not to be paid attention to. And what I mean is that when you get these frequencies and you have interactions with people, and you see things and you hear things, and the old ego mind starts to work, and it starts to dictate to the heart mind, and then the rest we know what happens. These things just start building, and we start expanding, and we start grabbing these thoughts that the ego mind shoots to us, and we start creating reality. So you can imagine that everything, it is basically whatever you think, whatever you speak is a frequency. And that is why when you speak, you create, and when you think, you create. All of these are connected. And I don't think a lot of us think about them that way. I think it's we take things for granted, and we think, well, yeah, I'm just talking, and I think, and that's it, so it's no big deal. But in reality, we are literally creating 24/7. Because, and this is why it's so important for us to still the mind, so that we can just be. And many are not there yet to be able to do that. I've used the example where some of you might start experiencing this more and more, where you just start staring you just start staring, and you stare, and you're not staring at anything. And I've mentioned this before, and you're just in a kind of a beingness. It's like you're frozen in the space that you're in, that you're not moving forward, you're not moving backward, you're just in the now. And you ever notice that it blanks? You have no thoughts that you're embracing from the ego mind. It is almost like you're in this void of total quiet. And it doesn't matter where you are, because this can happen at any time, where you're just sitting at a desk and you just start staring. And you go into this kind of like a It's not a trance. It's just where you're going into the God, is the best way to describe it. A lot of us don't realize that, but that's what's happening. And you'll notice that whenever you have these, it's a blissful feeling because there's nothing there. You have all the worries, all the stresses, all the fears are gone. Everything is gone. It disappears. You're not thinking. You're just being. And this is something that Buddha has done and many others have done through literally millions of years, billions of years, trillions of years. And we get to the point where we know what it is, and so we can go into it any time. All right? Now, I recommend, it's just my opinion, that you try this. And how you do it is that doesn't matter where you're at. Okay? It may not click in at first. All right? So don't overdo it or try hard or then start bringing in negative frequencies and get frustrated. You just very easily you're just in the now and you're being, and you just stare at nothing. So you aren't looking at the focal point. You aren't looking at something, the TV, the computer, anything. You're not, but you're just staring. And you'll find that you will, all of a sudden, you'll move into this where there's nothingness. There's no thoughts, really. You're not entertaining any. You still the mind, and you're just there. And you go into a blank void. And all you're doing is listening. And it's quite interesting how things take form when you're in that beingness. And that's the first step. And once you can call on that whenever you wish. Once you get into the habit of doing it, you can call on it. Because you'll know the feeling. You'll bring it in through the God, through the heart-mind. And then you'll just sit and stare. I know it sounds a little strange, but I'm sure some of you, or all of you, at one time, shape, form, or another, have experienced that. And you're oblivious to everything around you. Someone might say something to you, you don't hear them. And they have to almost yell in your ear to wake you, to get you to... It is not sleeping with your eyes open either, so don't misinterpret that. It is actually, you are in the void, the now. And you are not participating in the physicalities of your existence with that body during that time. Okay? That's the first step. All right? We will go into the other steps once we get to the point where you can call on that and be in it. It's really important at this stage of the advancement of this planet Gaia, because she is resting. And the elements like earth, air, water, fire are doing their things. And we have, the situation out in Australia with the fires because of their consistent heat wave. It's just baking that country. So you understand something, that we all have the ability and the power to call upon all of the elements. Okay? But we have been taught and trained so constantly to believe, everything opposite us is stupid, that's silly, that's not possible, that's just a waste of time, and blah, 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 blah. But it is called the confidence through the God that you are and through the heart-mind without the ego. And this is why we constantly bring in, during the meditation, we bring in the elements. So, people in Australia, a lot of them don't understand, and a lot of people on the planet don't understand, that we are the creators. That's it. We don't wait for something to occur from external authority that something is going to take place, we affect the shift and the change within the atmosphere. And it can be done at any time, any place, anywhere. It's just like the deserts of this planet. Why do we need deserts? We do not need deserts, okay? They are former oceans, and they serve really no purpose. And we just accept them. So what do? Well, we start increasing the moisture base, and we start causing rain to fall, and then eventually you start causing the water and the sand to go through a metamorphosis, because as more and more water is poured on the sand, it begins to become a different form, say. And so when we do that, then the way rain comes, you could literally fly over Australia and use orgone rods with crystals, and you could fly around the upper atmosphere, and you could have torrential rains, not flooding rains, but you could have heavy-duty rains all over Australia for 2-3 days if you wanted to. And that's what's so funny. We, as a civilization on this planet, we wait for things. Isn't it interesting? We wait. But the whole time we're creating. So when we see something that we say, that shouldn't be. So your intent without ego, without the ego mind, and through your heart mind and through your God, is cool the air. That's the first start. Cool the air, which will create moisture. Moisture is in the atmosphere. I don't care if it's in the desert. It's still in the atmosphere. It doesn't go. The water on this planet has never gone anywhere but this planet. So when you do that with that type of intent, then things will shift. So during this meditation, we will understand that any sore area on the planet, in other words, the fires in Australia, or anything that is causing harm to life, will be negated. What does water do with fire? See, they're all synergistic. They all work together. Fire knows that water will extinguish it, and it also knows that it can get out of control and cause a lot of damage and burn a lot of trees and wood. So the checkmate for fire is water. It's the opposite. And it's the same with air and fire. Air will feed fire. That's why you see all these fires that just get out of control, because the elements aren't being directed. Understand that, okay? We can direct the elements with our intent, non-ego, not through the ego mind, but through the heart mind and through the God, which would then causes a more balance. There's no harmony when you have a raging fire. There's no balance, see? So what we do is we bring in balance. So how do we bring in balance? We call upon the water. Water elemental. These are living entities. Fire is alive. It uses oxygen to fuel itself. There are all forms of microscopic atoms, molecules that make up everything. They're part of source creation. These life forms, such as fire, water, air, in certain ways, they keep us warm, they keep us oxygenated, they do a lot of wonderful things. But when they're out of control, and you only have one, like the fire burning, what happens is that it is not balanced, it's out of control. So we have to call in the water to temper the element of fire. This is how it works. We've been all taught so many falsities, it is unending. But when we know that we are the creators, and you can say co-creators or whatever, but we're creators, bottom line. And we were created by source creation we're omnipotently powerful, and then we're coming into that beginning steps of understanding that. So, I've talked about, you see a pink flowered tree and you want it to be a purple flowered tree, and then it is. It doesn't harm anything. It is part of the very fabric of creation. We are into beauty for the most part, the civilization. There are those who defile it because they are twisted and misdirected. But for the most part, we are into beauty. And the beauty of this planet is paramount in its pristineness and all life to excel and expand. So this meditation is about the elements. It is about earth, air, water, fire. It is for us to have a much more intimate understanding of what they are. Okay? Because, there are beings that are fire on other forms, planetary forms. There are civilizations that are fire, right? Not much like the fire here, but they're fire. And there are elements that are water, that have water planets that are elements, part of the water, that are intelligent beings. There are air elements, elementals, and there's also earth. Look at all of the vibrancy and life that exists in earth. Okay? Look at how the earth, in cooperation with the other atmospheric and planetary microbes, feed the very food that we consume, cause it to grow. We don't look at these a lot, see? We don't. Fire's always disturbing and worry it's going to burn down houses and everything. And there's two things that fire can be put in checkmate with. One is water, we all know that. The other one is air. When you take the air and you have the air leave the fire cannot survive, so the fire is extinguished. See, a lot of the times what we do is we put water on the fire while the air is feeding the fire and the water's trying to put the fire out. So it becomes like a lot of the firefighters have a really difficult time with the archaic technology that they're forced to use to put these fires out. And when you start to learn that, okay, so in the area, in the vicinity of the fire, because the fire absorbs the oxygen. That's what keeps it running, right? And that's why the trees burn, because the trees give off oxygen. They take in carbon dioxide to give off oxygen. So obviously, the trees are going to burn rapidly with a raging fire that's out of control. So I'm just giving you an example. And so what do we do? All right, like the fires in Australia. You look at the fire, and you know that it is not in balance. It's not in harmony. It's out of control. It's burning everywhere, right? So what do? You have two elements. You use water, and then you eliminate the oxygen in the surrounding area of where the fire is. So you use a oxygen expressor. It literally pulls the oxygen out of the area, not all over the planet, but out of the area where the fire is, just long enough, and it calculates the actual heat, temperature, and spread of the fire and the intensity of it, and then it literally analyzes and puts into play a buffeting. It's like an oxygen vacuum. And again, it's done with an array. The array goes up, and it literally takes the oxygen out of that area. So there's no oxygen. And it's not for hours. It doesn't harm the life, but what it does is completely puts the fire out, completely. Now, as it does this, you still have heat. So the heat can create the fire. So then we bring in the water. And the water literally dampens everything, and it's done. It's just completely finished. Now, why wouldn't they use this technology in all these massive fires that the planet has had over the last 10 years? Because they want to destroy the planet, the surface of it. That's why. So, in the near future, future, we'll be able to, any fires, anywhere. We will have a monitoring system that will basically identify any fire anywhere and calculate its spread and its intensity and its power. And then we will use the two elements to eliminate the fire before it even is able to do any amount of damage. See? So it's like a sentry system that keeps things in harmony. What does that do? It protects the civilization from harm. This is our main goal, and our main edict is to protect the civilization from harm. And that's one of the applications. So to understand the elements is the beginning, to understand what they are, because they are in their own way living, period. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure we all are. First thing we want to do is to relax our bodies. Been a flurry the last few weeks, with November, December, the holidays and everything, and trying to, getting into the flow of the ease of just being and letting go and surrendering all around you, all things. And this will balance and it'll harmonize your body and relax your body. It's like you let go of everything. In other words, it's like you never had it. You don't have all the things. You don't have any of it. It drops away. And it gives you a feeling of understanding that everything that we have is temporary. See what I mean? Because when we leave the body, all of that is left behind. So we really can't covet anything. That's why the Egyptians, they were under the interpretation, because they were under a similar matrix, basically the same matrix. And so they were under the interpretation that, when they buried those who left the body, and they put them in the sarcophaguses, caskets, and put the things that they felt were the most valuable to that being at that time, and put them in there and surround in the room and everything, depending on the wealth that they carried while in the body. And of course, you go into these tombs and you'll see that all the stuff's still there. It's kind of silly. And so we know that it's just temporary. And once you know it's temporary, it's hard for a lot of people who haven't experienced loss of everything, because that's a wonderful teacher. It is an absolutely wonderful teacher when you have a loss of everything. When you lose everything, all material things, home, everything, all gone in a blink of the eye. And after that happens to you a few times, then you realize that it is just temporary. And you're much more able to just surrender it all. No matter how much you have, no matter how many homes you have, no matter how many vehicles you have, no matter how much money in the bank you have, no matter how much, you let it all go. You surrender it all. Boom. It's not out of disrespect. It's not out of not desiring or wanting it. It's just to make sure that you stay balanced, and that's how the body relaxes. You just let it go. Let everything go. You'll find that the stress and the tension in the shoulders and all of that will just fall right off of you during that time where you literally deem that I've let it all go. If it was gone tomorrow, it wouldn't affect me. See, it's the attachment. You can love everything, but you've got to be careful that you don't become physically attached to things. See what I mean? Love them, enjoy them, but not to become physically attached where you're going, oh, I can't part with this. Because it's all energy anyway. It's all frequency. So you relax the body. Just let it go. It's like the canoe downstream, no oars. You're just laying back, you got a cushion there, and you're just looking at the shorelines, it's floating down. Let the current just take you wherever it takes you. Or that hot air balloon where you dump everything out and you just keep soaring and soaring and soaring. And the higher you get, the more beauty you take in, and the more peacefulness that you are. And then you start realizing that you truly are the God within. That's why we're so attracted to the majesty of this planet. That's why we're in awe of the beauty of this planet. It is because we are part of it. So we admire that which we are, because we're a part of everything. And it is not from the ego mind. It is just in confidence through the heart mind. So as we're relaxing the body, we then move in to the now. And the now is actually all that we do occupy, is the now. The past is gone. We've experienced those times. The future hasn't arrived. Because when in the now, you are not in the future, and you are not in the past, but they are both with you in the now. So in the now, what you do is you are creating, in this very moment, you are creating your future. This is why we look at our thoughts. We understand where they come from. We understand what's dictating them to us through the ego mind. We also understand that the subconscious is a mind that harbors all of the goop and everything that we've collected, say, and so we clean it out, we vacuum it, and then we start filling it full of positive experiences, good things, uplifting. And this is a combination of managing and being able to really know who and what you are. So in the now, we still the mind, we still the ego mind, we still the subconscious mind. And we just be. That's it. And we relax the body and in the now, and then we want to breathe. Most of us shallow breathe. In fact, we take our breathing so much for granted that we don't pay any attention to it most of the time. And that's why we shallow breathe, which is not a good thing anyway. So the breathing, the breathing, you breath in through the nose, you breath out through the mouth. You take a really healthy, comfortable inhale and through the nose, and you hold it. I am light, I am love, I am. I am light, I am love, I am light, I am love, I am. It's 3 seconds, that's what that is, in those vibrational frequencies and those words. And then you exhale, breath out through the mouth. Real comfortably, let it all out. And you want to do this at least 6 times while I'm talking. Now, as you breath in, you're breathing in divine positive energy. Divine positive energy is source creation. It is from all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. Trillions and trillions of different beings, different gods in different forms. Trillions and trillions, centillions throughout the universes. And this divine positive energy is communicating through your God, through your heart mind. It is a vibration, it's a feeling, it's a frequency. And it is the truth when you understand the very finiteness of everything. That you're all that there is. You're made up of source creation. You're all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. We're talking about all the civilizations, all the gods and all the different body forms. All of it. Humanoid forms, other forms. Do you think we all come from different places? We all came from source. That is undeniable. No matter who you think you are in physical form, no matter who you think you were out of physical form, we are all on the equality of source creation out of deep eternal love. That's it. Okay? When you feel that you have to express in the physical world that you're some omnipotent, connected, powerful, bringing yourself above all and everything, is the ego mind. It is not the heart mind. For if it was the heart mind, that would not be a motivator, or it would not even cross us to have to expend that out to impress or to give people the false impression that you are over them, that you control everything. See how that gets? How it twists itself? And that's when we delve into the ego mind. And we are the slave of the ego mind. Whenever you come across people that are claiming that they're omnipotent this or they're that they have control of everything and everywhere, you will know where it's coming from. It is the ego mind that has enslaved them through the heart mind. That's it. And it's incessant. For knowing that we are all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever and beyond, forever, is all. What else is there for us to express? Only love. That's it. We do not need to profess to people on how magnificent we are in everything, and how powerful and controlling, and how we control all this and all that. And it's all reliant on that individual, that one that is claiming these things. So we send them love and we move on. We don't give it much thought because it's trivial, to be quite frank. The journey is within for all of us. That's it. That's where it is. That's where we find out who and what we are. So we literally know that we can influence and guide the elementals. We know the combinations. Okay? The oceans, the soils, the atmosphere, and the combustion of a combination of the air and friction and heat. Now when we breath out, we know what we breath out. It is literally involved with the ego mind trying to convince us that all this is just a bunch of poppycock, that it's all fantasy, that it's not really real at all. And follow it, and you'll be fine. Right? And we love the ego mind. We don't have any beef with the ego mind. We just start to understand and comprehend what its function is, what it does. And once it finds out that we are aware, then it no longer will command anything. We will command it. Now understand that we are with the heart mind. This is where we are at. We are pure, deep, eternal love. We are confidence without ego, without the ego mind. And we also are the kingdom of God, the heart of God, the mind of God. We are the one. We make up the one. So we're all together. We have many others with us. We have the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes, all the angels. And they vibrate at a different frequency. That's the only reason that we don't see them everywhere. You know, we see them on occasion. Like I say, we see them in human form where they'll come in and that just someone appears and they're an angel. There's others who are archangels that take on human form that when they're in the human form, they become confused and they don't understand that they are angels. So they're not consciously aware that they are the angel that literally left their angelic frequency and came into this density to assist us to find our journey within and to understand that we are the kingdom of God. So they are the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love. And there's trillions of them, and one of us at times can be surrounded with up to 10,000 of them. It's phenomenal. So, in addition to them being with us 24/7, we have the ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Ganesh, Lakshmi. Buddha, Gaia, Saint Germain, Sananda Jesus, Amoria, Abundantia, Thoth, Hell, many, many, many more. These are gods who have ascended out of body and maintain God form. That's it, right? Where does the mastership come in? Their awareness that they leave the body and that they are in God form and that they still continue to assist the gods that are still within the body. Okay? So that they master what we are mastering. And again, this is not the ego mind. This is the competence through the heart mind. The knowingness. And they're of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love. So all of us form. We come together arm in arm, hand in hand in a way, and we form this halo, this circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, who is now resting. And as we do this, we literally emit a brilliant light. And this isn't the Luciferian light. This is the light of source creation. This is the high, high frequency of deep eternal love. And what it does is, it is so bright that the darkness of space is lifted. It's eliminated. Because the higher frequencies of the bright light fill the voids of the sacredness of space. So understand and view that through the heart mind. So as we do this, we encase the planet in a perfect sphere, and all of us in perfect spheres. And these are made up of part of what we are. The emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael, the violet blue purple flaming light of Archangel Michael, the white fire, the purple transmuting flame, the violet ray, and the golden white pink light of source creation. And who came from source? What came from source creation? Mother, Father, God, the masculine and the feminine, prime source creator God, all came from source creation, our family. So as we realize that in high frequency, we are always protected 24/7, nonstop, forever. It is only our choosing. If we lower our frequencies down, 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 we know how then we become open and vulnerable to low frequency invasion. This is a choice. This is all it is. It is our choice, no one else's. It is each and every one of us' choice. Do we stay in the higher frequencies and practice being there so that we don't ever have to deal with these low frequency invasions? Now, as we float up, we decide to leave the body. Let's go above the bodies. And as we do this, we immediately call out to the other parts, the other sort of creation gods of deep eternal love. We call out to all the light energy beings that are in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And only those that are the highest, deepest eternal love from the highest, deepest eternal love can join us in this meditation, this now in the circle of light. They're of full compassion and non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, kindness, benevolence, tranquility, generosity, humbleness, peace, joy, bliss. And they come in the Guga plexus. One Gugaplex fills this universe. They come from thousands and thousands of universes, filling each universe, coming and connecting into this little planet in this sector of the galaxy. And they flock in, arm in arm, hand in hand, their gods with our gods with theirs, in this meditation, this now, the circle line. They're of the highest, deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes, and we are of everywhere. We call upon all of the inhabitants of Agartha, inner earth, hollow earth, beneath earth, all of these civilizations, and only those who are of the highest, deepest, eternal love, from the highest, deepest, eternal love, to join us in this meditation, in this circle of light. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, stillness of mind, kindness, generosity, humbleness, joy, bliss, peace, tranquility, benevolence. And they come in massive numbers, in the billions, arm in arm, hand in hand, in this now, in this circle of light, in this meditation. Their gods with our gods with theirs, they are of the highest, of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitude, and we are of the highest, of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes, and we are all one. And we are all love, and our God light energy is absolutely everywhere. We call upon the galactic softworkers, Pleiadians, Sirians, Andromedans, Arcturians, and many, many, many more. Only those who are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love can join us in this meditation, in this now, and this circle of light. They have been with us in assisting in our evolution, in our enlightenment, in our ascension, in freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, generosity and humbleness, peace, joy, bliss, kindness, tranquility, benevolence. And they come in the billions, arm in arm, hand in hand, throughout the galaxy, throughout the universe, into many universes. Their gods with our gods with theirs. And this now, this meditation, this circle of light, they are of the highest, of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes. We are of the highest, of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes. And we are all one. And we are all love. And our God light energy is absolutely everywhere. We call upon our loved ones, those who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. Only those who are of the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love can join us in this meditation, in this now, in this circle of light. For if their frequencies are low, they cannot hold form with us in this meditation. That's the only reason they're not with us. It is their choice to increase their vibrational frequency so that they can join us. They're in full compassion, non-judgment, kindness, peace, joy, bliss, generosity, humbleness, tranquility, benevolence. And they come in the billions, arm in arm, hand in hand. Their gods with our gods with theirs, in this now, in this meditation, in this circle of life. They are of the highest, of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes, and we are of the highest, of deepest, deepest, deepest gratitudes, and we are all one. We are all love, and our God light energy is absolutely everywhere. We call upon all of the light energy beings who have decided to be housed in the following forms on and above and below this planet Earth, Gaia, in this now, this meditation, in this circle of light. And only those who are the highest, deepest, eternal love from the highest, deepest, eternal love can join us in this meditation, in this circle of light. There is full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, stillness of mind, non-negativity, kindness, generosity, humbleness, peace, bliss, joy, tranquility, benevolence. And they them in the billions, arm in arm, hand in hand, trillions more and more. Their gods with our gods with theirs. The mermaids, the dolphin, the whale, the Pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur, the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the elements, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, and many, many, many more. In colors, shapes, sizes, configurations, and forms of which we have never seen before. And arm in arm, hand in hand, they join us. In this meditation, this circle of life, their gods with our gods with theirs, they are of the highest of deepest gratitudes. We are of the highest of deepest gratitudes. We are all one. We are all love, and our godlike energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever, beyond, and forever. It spreads. It uplifts everything. All the lower frequencies. All of the low-ended survival matter frequencies are literally flooded and saturated with the deep eternal love of source creation. It is all that we are, ever have been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. We look up and we see our meditative sphere. We created this meditative sphere. It holds all of our meditations in perpetual motion. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. It can be seen, heard, and felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It is the deepest, the purest, the deepest eternal love from source creation. It is the highest of deepest gratitudes from source creation. It floods us. We can feel it as it literally floods and saturates our physical bodies, inside and out, head to toe. Our God, our kingdom of God, the heart of God, mind of God, flooding us. Pure source creation, deep, eternal love and gratitude. And we expand more. We look down upon the planet. Gaia. We see all of our brothers and sisters. We see all life. We see any life in peril. We sense it. We feel it. Anything that is out of balance. So knowing that we wield the elements, we can temper anything the elements are involved in doing. Anything that may be destructive. Anything that may harm life. We temper the elements. We must understand the elements. Just exactly who and what they are. And then once we understand that, then we're able to change the frequency paths of all the elements so that they are in peace. That they are not frightened. And this is what we do with Australia. We cool the air. We bring in the moisture. As the air cools, the molecular structure begins to slow. The air gets cold enough, we bring it from the top down. Then as it cools, it begins to create moisture out of the atmosphere. And as that happens, we then build the clouds that come in order to extinguish and saturate the soil, earth elements, and to cause subduing and ease of action. And this is through our intent, through our heart, mind, through the gods that we are. You see, there should not be any turmoil on this planet unless we deem it so. And that's the truth. And this is not the ego mind. This is the God God mind. And this planet will become a God planet because of all of us and because of our intent. That is the only way it will become that way. Because remember, we are the shift. And as we travel, we learn more and more within on who and what we are. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out.